With me is Raph Koster. Raph,
Hi.
tell everybody who you are and what you do.
I guess I'm a virtual world designer. I did Ultima Online and Star Wars Galaxies, and I wrote a book called A Theory of Fun, and I was Chief Creative Officer at Sony Online, and now I do a thing called MetaPlace.
You almost did one other thing. You almost ruined my marriage with Star Wars Galaxies. I played that game so much and loved it so much that my wife almost left me.
Oh, so what were you, a fat Wookiee belly dancer?
No, I was a pistolier, just kind of human-looking character, but have many, many good memories of that game. Love that game. So we've never met before, but I have but I have a funny story to tell you. We kind of have.
You mean another funny story?
We've kind of met in MetaPlace.
Oh.
Last week.
Last week.
At
awesome.
the MMO documentary, the Another World.
Yeah,
MMO.
Another Perfect World. Yeah.
I was the one who was having the trouble with the audio and stuff, and I was talking to you in chat and saying like I need to restart it, and you're like, oh, we gotta figure this out. And
oh wow, that's kind of ironic considering here we are on online audio.
How funny is that?
At the booth of an online audio provider.
What is MetaPlace? Explain to people what MetaPlace is, because I think it's a brilliant concept.
Oh, thank you. MetaPlace is basically a system that allows anybody to come to a web page, build a virtual world of their own using tools as easy as The Sims, but as powerful as Second Life, and put it on any web page they want. They can put it on their blog. They can put it on
any
their
web
guild.
page. You just grab an embed code, drop it on your own page, and now what you've built in MetaPlace is now sitting on.
That's right.
And that's what I did with what you built with the theater in MetaPlace.
Really?
I grabbed the embed. I was testing some of this stuff out. I threw it on my page, threw up a chat, and started a live chat going on.
Awesome.
Which is why I was talking to you about how the playback.
Yep.
For conversation, we were talking about that, because that's what I was doing. I was holding a virtual chat. It was outside of actually what you were doing because I embedded it, but we were having a virtual chat. I thought it was so cool when I saw it on a post. I woke up in the morning, I think massively posted about it, and I was like, wow, this is really cool, because in real life, I don't have a ton of friends that play MMOs.
Right.
So it's not like I would call them up and invite them over the house to go watch this MMO doc.
Right.
But I was like, cool, like I'm going to go in here and probably sit down with 20, 30, 40, hundreds of people potentially and watch this MMO documentary and chat with them about it like I would if they were like sitting next to me.
Yeah, you know, one of the coolest things about MetaPlace is that things like streaming live documentaries and other kinds of hookups to the internet can happen from inside the world. So the documentary, that was actually the US premiere of this documentary that's been on primetime TV in Europe. I guess they didn't find a distributor in the US. And they said, hey, MetaPlace is in the documentary, or you can use that.
Let's put it on.
But people have done things like build Twitter clients that live inside the world, so you can do Twittering from inside
the world.
Yeah, people have hooked it up to all kinds of web services of all kinds. So it's really designed to sit on the web as part of the web, and all the worlds are linked together, right? So it's not like you built your own little place. You're part of, there's over 30,000 worlds now on MetaPlace.
Wow.
Built by users. And everything from...
And if I'm right, you're still in beta, right?
Yeah, we're still in beta.
So 30,000 worlds and it's not even launched.
That's right.
That's a lot of content.
Yeah, and some of it, like there's a Jack the Ripper adventure game. And it's done by somebody who can't code, right? The tools are easy enough that without knowing how to code, you can say, I need this to have a sliding block and push this, and even text-to-speech for the conversation stuff.
That's the key here, is that the tools are simple to use. And really, the only thing you have to fire up is your imagination.
That's right. That's the goal anyway. We often say it's like Sims meets Second Life in Flash on the web, right? And part of the reason to do it was to see what would we unlock, right? Because let's admit, we're all kind of sick of elves in tights, right? I mean, and so when I saw like this musician guy from Scandinavia, right? He's Swedish, and he has a folk music band. And at first I thought, well, he did a little concert world with a little cafe stage. That's cool. But I knew we were touching something special when we made a Swedish folk music RPG in MetaPlace. It's a full-on RPG with all these little mythical characters.
Really?
Swedish mythology and everything. And his music is the soundtrack. And it's like, that's awesome, and this would never get made without something like MetaPlace.
You must go to work every day and just be like, what's new today? Like, what can I be blown away by? Like, what did somebody create yesterday that's just going to blow my mind? Because And I see that as a big part of the future of the online virtual world and things like that. It's about giving tools. I gush a lot about a company which is a little bit more of a traditional MMO of like CCP and EVE Online, but giving players tools to then like create worlds and do things inside of them that a lot of them kind of like close you in a little bit, and that's really what MetaPlace is trying to do. I think is expand that. Say, here's a bunch of stuff, go crazy with it, and then I love the fact that you're saying put it anywhere and do anything with it, because that mentality of like four-walling everything and we need to own everything and it needs to be on our website only is kind of like we need.
Yeah, you know, I think gamers especially, and I am one, right? So don't get me wrong. I think we all love really amazingly well-crafted content and awesome graphics and solid design, all the rest of that. It's absolutely true. User-generated stuff usually isn't that way. Every once in a while, you get a Counter-Strike. Right? You get a Dota. You get the stuff that Team Fortress that does come out of the community and turns out to totally kick freaking ass. Right? It does happen. And I think what we're seeing around these days, you know, it's the vibe of the conference as a whole, I think, is that just like what happened to publishing in music, where now there's a million MySpace bands, and you know what? Some of them are really good. Yeah. Right? And there's a zillion blogs out there, and now some of them are more important than newspapers.
Yep.
Those were user-generated content. We gave the tools, and today, thanks to that, what we have is this amazing indie scene and all this quality content. So even though, you know, 90% of everything's crap, that's absolutely true. But the fact that we're letting it out of the hands of the pros means that I think we're all winners there. Even the people who suck, they're winners because at least their family and friends get to see their stuff. They get to learn.
And they probably had a great time, and they had fun, and they enjoyed doing it. Yeah.
And, you know, the people who just want awesome stuff to play, they're winners in the long run too, because that stuff does show up, because there's so much hidden talent out there.
So here's my question then. Oh, with 30,000 worlds, with how you just said 90% of this content could end up being crap, how am I going to find the good content?
Well, a lot like people do with things like YouTube or even with the web, right? So we have a portal that you can use for search. Worlds can be tagged, there's categories, there's all that. We have a fairly complicated system for popping up fresh, cool worlds based on newness and them being recently highly rated. And so you can go and see what, you actually can watch worlds go viral, even now in the beta, in a small way. You'll see them going on. There's also, we have an event system so that you can essentially do grand openings, and it'll send a notification to all 30,000 worlds, pops up in the corner, hey, this is going on over here.
Brand new world, come over and check it out.
Very cool. Very cool. So people use that to host parties, run events, or just use it as an ad.
Very cool. So it's about search, which I think is a huge future. Search is the future of everything. I mean, you see Facebook going that way of the whole friend feed buy that they just picked up on, and I'm a huge friend feed freak. I think it was a brilliant. I think it's brilliant, and yeah, I mean that makes total sense. I mean, how you can. I think more and more that gamers especially are probably going to, not that there's always going to be a need for journalists and people reviewing things and talking about that, but what I see especially with games and stuff like that is I start finding out about content or games more and more from my social graph.
Sure.
You know, and that's I see that as the future of it. Sometimes maybe I don't even have to search for things, but information starts getting pushed to me all based on what I'm doing online. Like, so what I'm doing on Facebook and what I'm doing on MetaPlace then says, hey, you might like this content and you might like that content.
Yeah, it's all plugging together more too. Yeah. And you know, having friends that exist in these different circles, and then being able to put your notification, like there's a full-on Twitter client that somebody's made in MetaPlace. So you can be in a world and have the world tweet. So you can follow the world.
You can follow the world, not the person.
It's not the person. Yeah. So there's all these things that are starting to happen in terms of mashing stuff up, and